We made it.
We did.
Friday, August the 16th. So glad that you're here. We're all here, so let's have a show. Here's what we're working on this morning. An investigation into Toronto's Jamestown Crips gang has led to over 150 charges.
St. Catharines getting ready to host the World Rowing Championship this weekend.
And a Lord of the Rings and Indiana Jones star will appear at next week's Fan Expo, but first, he is on Morning Live.
Morning Live? Brian Wood.
Brain Woods back for another
Brain
Friday.
Woods.
Thank you for that. Brain Woods. Yes, Brain Woods is back.
Yeah, good summer jacket you have on there.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Yes, it is still summer, even though we're not going to see an awful lot of sunshine this weekend. I'm still thinking summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to get through all my, because you have certain summer gear that you want to put to the front of the line because you might not see it. Well, we still got a good month of it. But
Sure, yeah. Summer still, we got still lots of summer to go. Yeah. And I hope you enjoyed. Yesterday was just another gorgeous summer day. I mean, 27 degrees, humidex in the low 30s, but beautiful sunshine, hardly a cloud in the sky. But it all changes today. The clouds start to roll in. We have a partly cloudy sky, and 18 right now. The clouds start to roll in today. We're going to see clouds with showers, possible thunderstorms. And temperature today about 24, humidex around 30 for the day. However, the showers become very heavy overnight tonight and stick around during the day tomorrow. We could get a fair bit of precipitation, differing amounts around the horseshoe, 10 to 20 millimeters overnight tonight. Tomorrow, 15 to 25 millimeters. So could be some heavy downpours during the day tomorrow. And the showers last into Sunday as well. So could be a fairly wet weekend coming up. Talk about it in a few minutes. How about a look at traffic this morning? 403 and Waterdown Road. Not a lot to see there. Looks good. It's Friday morning volume. To our MTO traffic cameras, here's a look at the Red Hill Creek camera. Nothing happening there. Toronto bound coming towards us around the bend. Top of the Skyway looks good. Same with third line going through Burlington, Oakville. No problems. So weather and traffic, of course, we'll check that coming up. Right now, the news.
All right, thanks, Brian. Let's start on the roads because a single vehicle crash in Waterdown has claimed the life of a 69-year-old man from Hamilton. Police say emergency services, they were called to Center Road just before the noon hour yesterday when a white Ford Econoline van left the road and into a ditch and struck a pole. The driver was found to be in medical distress at the scene, was transported to hospital where he was later pronounced dead. Coroner's office is investigating a possible medical episode prior to the vehicle leaving the road, as speed, driver impairment, and distraction has all been ruled out. Center Road was closed for several hours, but has since reopened.
8 people from Hamilton and a teenager from Paris, Ontario are among dozens of people arrested in a very large drug and weapons investigation. Police say it's connected to the Toronto street gang, the Jamestown Crips. During 35 search warrants across the province, Toronto police seized $500,000 in cocaine, more than $400,000 in methamphetamine, and another $320,000 in cash. They also seized 9 guns.
Our intention is to disrupt. I'm not going to be up here trying to pretend that the gang doesn't exist as of this morning. But the reality is, when you can take 9 guns off the street, just one gun can be used in dozens of shootings and claim innocent lives. And when you take drugs off the street, obviously there's people watching right now whose drugs have affected their family terribly. So I think anytime we have the ability to do that and disrupt a gang, I think that's good for the community.
Investigators say the gang's trafficking operations included the use of using Canada Post to send drugs to other provinces.
Criminal trial against the man accused of killing Christopher Sim in 2021. That is expected to continue today after the court heard testimony from a forensic pathologist who examined Sim's body. The doctor determined that Sim's cause of death was a stab wound to the heart. She testified that Sim also had sharp injuries to his eye, neck, and torso. Court also reviewed DNA evidence collected from the scene, including a surgical mask and fingernail clippings. 26-year-old Jaden Cirio was charged with first-degree murder in connection to a stabbing outside a downtown Hamilton shelter back in 2021.
Man's been arrested after photos were taken up the skirts and dresses of women at a Burlington Shoppers Drug Mart. Police say 37-year-old Mohammed Abdul El Sheikh of Etobicoke faces 8 charges of voyeurism. They've released his photo because they believe there may be more victims.
22-year-old Milton Mann facing mischief charges after the OPP nabbed a driver and his friends tossing eggs and passing cars in the 403 in Mississauga. So they were thrown from the Burnenthorpe Road overpass. OPP posted these photos on X with the caption, "Here's an excellent idea of what not to do."
Mayors around the Golden Horseshoe are calling on the Ontario government to do better when it comes to helping municipalities deal with homelessness. St. Catharines Mayor Matt Cisco is among a coalition of big city mayors calling for the government to introduce a new minister solely dedicated to tackling housing and homelessness. St. Catharines already spends around $4 million, or 3% of its annual budget, just on the downstream effects of encampments, things like cleanup crews as well as fire and EMS calls. That's not to mention the millions spent on capital projects like temporary shelters set up in the city already this year.
There's a sense of urgency in municipalities. You know, if you talk to any of my colleagues, mayors in other cities, they know the urgency, their councils know the urgency, but we're not seeing the same urgency from the province and the federal governments. Cities and regions, we're only allowed to use property tax, but the reality is the cost to solve this, it goes well beyond anything I can do with the property tax, and frankly, it's not fair to my residents.
Matt Cisco and other mayors are encouraging businesses and residents to share their frustration with the province through a form on their website called Solve the Crisis. Marineland's been ordered to pay nearly $85,000 in fines and restitution after it was found guilty under Ontario's animal cruelty laws. The Niagara Falls theme park was found guilty in March of keeping 3 black bears in small enclosures without sufficient access to water. The ruling calls for Marineland to pay out $15,000 for each of the bears in restitution for the cost of the care of the animals after they were seized. Well, St. Catharines gearing up to welcome thousands of athletes from right around the world for the World Rowing Championships. They start Sunday. It's the 3rd time St. Catharines has hosted the race. The last time was in 1999, and the one before that, 1970. It's referred to as a Mega Worlds because it's combining the senior, under 23, and under 19 World Rowing Championships, which are all usually held as separate events. This will bring together 2,500 athletes from more than 60 countries for a week-long event. The opening ceremonies kick off tomorrow, and the races themselves start Sunday. The event will run from 9 in the morning till 7 at night every day at the Royal Canadian Henley Rowing Course. Aside from rowing, there's also the Mega Worlds Fan Festival that starts on the 21st. The 4-day outdoor festival is free at Rennie Park in St. Catharines with live music, food, and art in support of Feed Niagara.
And our Simone Gavros is going to be there this morning, teeing everything up. Perhaps getting the course ready to go, maybe
yes.
In a boat. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not sure what she's up to. Let's get into Sports Line, shall we? Let's start with the CFL, because we're halfway through the CFL season, and we'll get to the Ticats' big game against Edmonton on Saturday in a second. But let's start with the Red Blacks in Calgary with a familiar face around these parts back under center.
Trying to take the lead into halftime. 42 seconds on the clock. Some pressure. Mazzoli escapes it and dumps it off. Gets rid of it, and a touchdown, Devontae Dedmon.
Yeah, that's former Ticats QB Jeremiah Mazzoli. Remember him? Yeah, he made his season debut and first time since he ruptured his Achilles last summer against those very same Ticats. He was always a fan favorite in the Hammer. It was because of the effort that he always put out there, and that was evident last night. Tossing a touchdown, throwing for 254 yards in the air. Ottawa looking to stay pace with the first place Alouettes down 1 late, and Mazzoli hooks up with another former Ticat and Braylon Addison. So that would set up the winning field goal, where Lewis Ward already knocked 2 home, sets it up from 51 yards, right through the uprights to give the Red Blacks the 31-29 come from behind victory. That moves them to 6-2-1 in the season and within 3 points of Montreal. It was an emotional one for Mazzoli, who has fought back a few times from injury to keep his CFL career alive. And that leads to the Ticats, who at 2-7 find themselves in the basement of the East Division, 6 points behind third place Toronto. Let's work the positives here, though, because Edmonton arrives also at 2-7 to Tim Hortons Fields. And these very same Elks were beaten badly by the Ticats just 3 weeks ago, 44-28, thanks to 5 touchdown passes by Bo Levi Mitchell. But Bo is no longer the starter. That has been given to Taylor Powell after a couple of subpar performances. No matter who is under center, they need a win, and things kick off at 7 o'clock. But no trade forward for the Elks, as the Niagara Falls native is listed as doubtful at quarterback after a chest injury in last week's game.
It's the biggest win of the year for Leila Annie Fernandez.
You can say that. So Leila Fernandez at the Cincinnati Open, she upsets fourth-ranked Elena Rybakina, a three-set thriller where Leila faced double match point, but was able to come back and win in a tie break and then take the third set. It was Leila's first win over a top 5 opponent since 2021. Felix Auger-Aliassime, his match was rained out. He's going to face Casper Ruud this afternoon. And the Raptors' schedule for the upcoming 24-25 season was released on Thursday, which will be the 30th season for the Dinos. Nobody expects them to win an NBA title, but doesn't mean there won't be any interest when the Cleveland Cavaliers arrive at the Scotiabank Arena on October 23rd to face Scotty Barnes and the Raptors. What about Hamilton's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Well, he arrives in the Big Smoke with a very talented OKC Thunder squad on December the 5th. Other notables, LeBron James entering his 21st NBA season. He'll be in town early on, November the 1st, possibly with son Bronny in tow.
Just about 12 minutes after 6 o'clock, it is Friday. We made it, and we're looking at traffic. Now, Friday mornings, usually light volume as far as the major routes are concerned, and that's the way it is right now. 403 Waterdown Road, not a lot to see, and you're not seeing a lot of sunshine yet. Even when it comes up, you're not going to see a lot of sunshine for the day. To our MTO traffic cameras, and once again, we'll start, as we usually do, in the St. Catharines area, and then we take you on a tour around the Horseshoe. Here's the QEW at Mountain between Niagara Falls and St. Catharines, nothing there. Red Hill Creek still doing fine. Here's the 403 junction coming out of Hamilton towards us. No problems there at all. East of Royal Windsor through Oakville, we'll dip into Mississauga at Etobicoke Creek. Looks pretty good at the moment. Temperature at the moment, we're milder than we were yesterday morning. We're sitting at 18 degrees right now. Winds are light from the east, but the relative humidity is up there again, 100%. That's what gave it. It was a blue sky yesterday, but it gave us that haze in the atmosphere, and we have a partly cloudy sky, even though the sun isn't quite up yet. Air quality for today is in the low risk category. It's come down from yesterday when it was in the moderate risk category. What we're looking at is the frontal boundary. That's going to get closer to us during the day. That ridge of high pressure gave us the gorgeous day yesterday, but incoming is that frontal boundary. That's going to bring the cloud cover for later on this morning, and then we're going to see showers, possible thunderstorms today, tonight, into the day tomorrow as well. And we could get some heavy downpours as we continue through the weekend. Today, 25 and 26 for Niagara. 24 and 25, the rest of the Horseshoe, as the precipitation begins a little later on this morning. It continues overnight tonight, 15 to 25 millimeters possible with showers and thunderstorms, temperatures anywhere from 19 to 20 right around the Horseshoe. And then tomorrow, temperature a little bit cooler, 23 to 25, but a fairly gray day tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms. Another 10 to 20 millimeters is possible during the day tomorrow. So it looks like it's going to be a wet one. And then as we head out the door on this Friday, enjoy, if you see a little bit of sunshine, enjoy it. It is partly cloudy right now. Temperature sitting at 18. And we'll check long range, of course, coming up. Annette, Tim.
Okay, thanks very much.
Hey, Emily Vukovic. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Coming up in Chit Chat, you guys mentioned it off the top, but we are going to be joining actor John Rhys Davies to find out what he's been up to. Law & Order has a podcast of some real life events, so we'll talk about that. And there is a prop auction from TVs and movies and all sorts of fun stuff that you may want to check out.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see you at the couch in a little bit. Coming up after the break on your Friday morning, into a little business news. And over 24 financial firms agreed to pay millions in fines, including 2 huge Canadian banks. We'll see you in 2. 6:16 on your Friday. Here's some numbers. Canadian dollar is up 8 basis points. Trading overseas at 72.87 cents US. Gold up over $7. 24.99.60 an ounce. Crude oil down 80 cents. 77.36 a barrel. Off to Europe we go. Happy Friday, Europe. Markets are down in London, but up in Frankfurt and Paris.
In Asia, markets were up today in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Paris, way up in Tokyo. North American markets, the TSX gained 272 points. The Dow was up more than 500. The NASDAQ rose over 400.
Well, 2 major Canadian banks have agreed to pay millions in fines due to record-keeping violations to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. RBC Capital Markets is set to pay $45 million U.S., while various divisions of TD Bank will pay $46.5 million to the SEC and an additional $82 million to the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Enforcement action is related to the use of electronic communications through text messages and other alternative channels that were not being preserved as required. The regulator found widespread off-channel communication at the 2 banks among employees and clients. In total, 26 banks, including RBC and TD, are paying about $393 million and have agreed to improve their record-keeping policies.
CN Rail's request for binding arbitration has been rejected, and this is ahead of a potential employee lockout. Federal Labor Minister Stephen McKinnon says he expects CN Rail and the Teamsters Canada Rail Conference, that's the union, to negotiate in good faith, with mediators ready to help if needed. If an agreement isn't reached on scheduling and wages, CN has threatened to lock out as soon as next Thursday. The union represents 9,300 conductors, engineers, and yard workers. It is also in labor talks with Canadian Pacific Kansas City Rail.
Another Canadian airline is ceasing operations, citing financial difficulties. Canada Jetlines grounded all planes yesterday and announced it plans to file for creditor protection. The Mississauga-based airline announced the shutdown after the resignation of its CEO and 3 board members earlier this week. So this closure adds to the list of recent Canadian airline closures following the halts in operation by Lynx Air and Swoop in the past year.
Home sales across Canada in July were up 4.8% from a year ago. The Canadian Real Estate Association says the national home average price last month was just over $667,000, down 0.2% from a year ago. The association says home sales were down 0.7% from June. The results come after the Bank of Canada cut its key rate in June and July, the first time since the early days of the pandemic.
Finish up with some more numbers for you because StatsCan says wholesale trade fell 0.6% to $82.4 billion in June. Sales dropped in 5 of the 7 subsectors. Motor vehicle and parts subsector, that fell 2.6 to $14 billion, with motor vehicle wholesalers dropping to $11.5 billion. The machinery, equipment, and supplier subsector also declined in June. Agency says these figures, they exclude petroleum products, hydrocarbons, oilseed, and grain. StatsCan began including oilseed, grain, petroleum, and petroleum products in wholesale trade last year, but is holding off on monthly analysis until there is enough historical data.
Okay, we're taking a quick break right now. Brian is back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast. We'll take a look at what the weekend has in store.
All right, 6:23. It is Friday. Yay! 16th morning of August. We're looking at the QEW and Welland here. So no problems through St. Look how light the volume is through here. Garden City Skyway way in the distance there. So nothing going on. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, a little busier, but still moving okay. So nothing there. Third line still fine. Mississauga Road. going through Mississauga, obviously, and we'll dip into the 403. This is the 403 just west of 10. Nothing going on this morning. It's really light volume. Temperature this morning is milder than yesterday at this time. We're sitting at 18 right now, 19 Grimsby and Mississauga, 20 into Toronto. Seasonals for this time of year, today the 16th of August, is 25 for the daytime high and 14 for the overnight low. Sun times there, so the sun isn't even up yet, and there are records for today. And for today, going out for your morning walk with your pal, it's pretty nice actually. It is partly cloudy. We're going to see increasing amounts of cloud cover as the morning goes on, but temperature at the moment, as I said, we're sitting at 18. So looking at 24 today with a humidex of 30, showers start to settle in without the cloud cover that's moving across us, and then we could even get some showers, some thunderstorms as the day progresses. 19 tonight, heavy downpours possible with showers and thunderstorms, and again tomorrow. Like tonight we could get 15 to 25 millimeters, tomorrow 10 to 20 millimeters. Cloud, showers, thunderstorms. Sunday again showers, Monday again showers now, and then the sunshine comes back for the middle of next week. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Oh, there's always next weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go to break, a robotic fish could change the way the world's oceans are studied.
This is Eve. It's the latest addition to a school of robotic fish designed to collect DNA from the environment as it swims. A group of engineering students in Switzerland has spent the last couple of years building these robots. They believe Eve's ability to camouflage herself as a fish will keep other sea life from being startled whenever she's around. The robot can swim alone for up to 2 hours, and it uses a filter to collect DNA particles. It also features a camera and sonar, which helps it to avoid obstacles.
You know what they say?
What do they say, Tim?
Anything is possible. Anything?
Anything. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, and look at the time. We got to go.
Yeah.
I'll school you on some puns after that. Got a bit from Brian. A little bit. We'll work on that.
What would Finding Dory think about that robotic fish? Huh?